Oil and gas prices are at an all-time low in years, and many people are celebrating, but they do not understand the greater geopolitical, the greater chess game that's unfolding in front of them, because the mainstream media here in the United States likes to talk about, I don't know, just really ignorant, dumb stuff that doesn't matter and really affect you, but this really does. Now let me break this down for you so you can really understand what's happening in this world. On September 11th, 2014 of this year, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, met with Saudi Prince Abdullah. Now, right after this grand meeting, when the U.S. met with a country with a horrible human rights record, Saudi Arabia decided to produce a lot more oil than it usually was. The Detroit News reports, adding to that expectation was news Thursday that Saudi Arabia, the dominant oil force in the Middle East, has been hinting it is ready for a price war. That the massive producer would ratchet up pumping. So right after this meeting, Saudi Arabia decided to pump more oil. Now we know how supply and demand economics works. The more you have of something, the less value it has. Now why is this happening? Even the Huffington Post reports that, if there's a landlord who sells all his houses for greatly under value, it causes the whole market to tank. That's what's happening with oil. The Saudis are basically flooding the market with cheaper oil, and that's putting a huge amount of downward pressure on oil prices. Now, why are they making oil cheaper? And of course, this article in the Capital kind of puts it together. It's interesting how I have to read different articles to connect all the dots for you. But it says here, Saudi Arabia, the leader of OPEC, can easily survive a drop in prices. Other oil-producing countries like Venezuela, Russia, and Iran cannot. If the prices remain too low for too long, these countries could experience some serious economic problems as well as oil shortages. Now, look at the countries. Venezuela, Russia, and Iran, key enemies against the U.S. hegemony, key enemies against the U.S. global reserve currency. Now we know Russia, 50% of Russia's state revenue comes from oil exports, and at the price that the Saudis are selling it right now, the Russians are going to be hit very hard economically by this decision. Now, obviously, what we're seeing right now is the U.S. and Saudi Arabia manipulating prices and destabilizing several countries that are opposing the U.S. as the major superpower. Now, we know the U.S. dollar is pretty much surviving only because it's the global reserve currency, only because it's traded for oil. And if you look at history, even within the last couple of years, any country that has threatened to sell their oil, who has threatened the U.S. Oil dollar, has either been invaded, overthrown, attacked, or sanctioned. Just look at the countries. Iraq, Libya, Syria, Iran, and Russia. All these countries have been affected negatively, and the only thing that they have in common is that they threatened the U.S. dollar being traded for oil as the global reserve currencies. So now we're kind of getting a greater picture. This is not a conspiracy theory. We even have the president of the Saudi Arabian Oil Policies and Strategic Expectations Center saying, he admitted this, Saudi Arabia plans to sell oil cheap for political reasons, to pressure Iran to limit its nuclear program, and to change Russia's position on Syria. This was admitted by the president of the Saudi Arabia's Oil Policies and Strategic Expectations Center. This is out in the open, price manipulation, backhand deals, underreported. No one's asking any hard questions. Meanwhile, these secret deals are being made right in front of you, and you're celebrating because there's cheaper gas. Meanwhile, there's a whole chess game being played out there right in front of you, and the mainstream media here in the U.S. is keeping you ignorant. There's a reason I had to read four different articles to connect the dots for you here today. That's because no one else is doing this. Because if you're ignorant and you're not paying attention to what's really happening in this world, you're not going to be able to fix this world. The first time you start understanding what's happening in this world, that's the first step you could take to actually making the world a better place. People, educate yourself. Check out the facts. If you liked this video and found it helpful, click like. Don't forget to subscribe. We're going to have a lot more videos coming your way. And don't forget, keep your eyes always open, because there's a lot of people who want to keep you dumb and ignorant from what's really happening in this world. But the only thing that could really prevent that is you. Don't forget to share this video with your friends.